Good afternoon, Mercer Island community. My name is Jessi Bon, and I am the City Manager for the City of Mercer Island. Today is Thursday, April 9th, and this is our live situation update. I do understand that Governor Jay Inslee is holding a press conference today at about 3:30. So we are going to try to wrap up this presentation in the next 30 minutes for those of you watching us live. As a reminder, the situation briefings are recorded and will be available on Let's Talk later today. For today, we have two guests from our staff. Sarah Bluvis will be talking about our work with small businesses in the community, and Ryan Daly is here to give a Parks and Recreation update. I have a handful of other things I'll be covering, including city service updates and an update that was provided to us from the Mercer Island School District. As a reminder, the city has a call center set up. Anything you need related to the COVID-19 pandemic, questions you have about city services, or if you just don't know what phone number to call, please do reach out to us directly at 206-275-7626. And new this week, we are moving to a 7-day-a-week operation, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. So again, the call center is open 7 days a week, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. All right, it's now my pleasure to introduce Sarah Bluvis. Sarah is serving as our small business liaison during the emergency. Sarah was a Parks and Recreation Department employee, and she happens to have a background and an interest in economic development. So I will tell you the story is she got about a 5-minute notice, and when I asked her to step in and provide some support to the business community during this emergency. Sarah has a lot of information to share today, so thank you, Sarah, for joining me, and we will go ahead and get started.
Can you hear me? Okay. First time on this side of the chair in council chambers, so thank you so much for having me today, Jessi. I'm really excited to talk with the Mercer Island community. As Jessi mentioned, I come from the Parks and Recreation Department, but have experience in economic development, particularly using arts and culture as tools for economic development. I had worked with the Chamber of Commerce and some local businesses prior to taking on my role as small business liaison. But I'll say when I came into this role a few weeks ago, I was pretty surprised to realize how vast the Mercer Island business landscape is. There's more than 1,000 businesses registered on Mercer Island, including all of the ones you can probably see on the screen right now. That's brick and mortars like restaurants and coffee shops, bookstores and tailors, but also ones that are less visible like graphic designers and consultants, stay-at-home daycares. One of the most important things I've been working on as small business liaison is reaching out to as many businesses as possible to learn what they need right now and to connect them with the resources that can provide them support during this really uncertain time. The Chamber of Commerce, as well as local businesses, local business advocates, and city council members have been really helpful in this endeavor and providing me a lot of support and getting me up to speed on what's been happening in the community. Later in this presentation, I'll share information about a few key federal and state resources for those businesses that might be watching. So as community members, you're all probably aware that small businesses are really impacted by the COVID-19 crisis, which is really unfortunate for a lot of reasons, in part because local businesses are so important to communities. There's the very obvious benefits, including, economic benefits like expanding the tax base. Every dollar you spend in your local community goes back into your community, as well as being job creators. You can provide valuable opportunities as a local business owner for the local community. But there's other less tangible or obvious benefits. I would say you probably can't think about Mercer Island without thinking about the Roanoke Inn or Island Books or Mercer Island Florists, to name a few. Your local businesses really provide a sense of community identity and foster and strengthen that. Local business owners are often more likely to be active in your community as well. They'll participate in community conversations and issues, sponsor local events and opportunities, as well as find other ways to take care of their neighbors. And finally, I would say small business is sort of synonymous with entrepreneurship. So small business owners bring an entrepreneurial spirit to the community, inspiring innovation and creativity in the way that we do business.
Thank you, Sarah. That was a great overview. I know now you've had just barely 3 weeks to dive into this. There are a number of programs available, federal programs, state programs, and even some county resources. I think today we were going to take some time to walk through some of those. So let's start with the Paycheck Protection Program.
Great. So the Paycheck Protection Program, or PPP, is the cornerstone of the CARES Act that was passed by Congress a couple weeks ago. This provides upwards of $350 million for small businesses. Sorry, actually that's $350 billion for small businesses. And it's really an opportunity to help businesses get through the next couple of months. The whole idea is to protect employment during the next 8 weeks or so. So by applying for the PPP, you're eligible to receive up to 2.5 times your average monthly payroll costs. That includes benefits and taxes. It also covers interest on mortgages, rent, and utilities. It's a 1% APR with 2-year terms. And the really amazing part about the PPP is that it's up to 100% forgivable as long as you use your loan for those eligible expenses. This program's open to small businesses, and small businesses as identified by the U.S. Small Business Administration, which is fewer than 500 employees, nonprofits, sole proprietors, independent contractors, self-employed workers, tribal businesses, and veteran organizations. So in short, there are a variety of organizations that are eligible for this program. In order to apply, businesses are supposed to work directly with their lending institution. I've heard from some businesses in the community already that either your lender, your bank, or your credit union isn't accepting any more applications because they've reached the cap, or they aren't participating in the program. So I encourage you to check out the SBA website. They have a tool so you can find a lender that you may be able to work with. And that information is shared on Let's Talk as well, which we'll share the link for Let's Talk later. One more thing to kind of keep in mind about the PPP really quickly is that the rollout has been less than ideal. So if you've had issues or you're having trouble connecting with your banker, all I can say is, reach out to them as soon as possible. Make sure you have all the documents you need so you're ready to go, and just be patient. That's all we can really do right now. So the next program has also been open for a few weeks. It's the U.S. Small Business Administration's Economic Injury Disaster Loan. So there are 2 parts to this program. The EIDL, the first piece, the loan itself, is administered by the SBA. It's a low-interest federal loan. You can apply for up to $2 million, and this is more of a long-term relief effort. It'll fund payroll, fixed debts, accounts payable, and other expenses that you probably aren't able to pay due to impacts from COVID-19 crisis. It also has a low interest rate, 3.75% APR with 15 or 30-year terms, and the APR for nonprofits is slightly lower. Again, eligibility requirements are fairly vast for this program. Small businesses with fewer than 500 employees, as well as most nonprofits, and small agricultural co-ops and aquaculture businesses. I recognize that we probably don't have any of those on Mercer Island, though. To apply, you apply directly through the Small Business Administration. When you apply, they will make you an offer of a certain loan amount, and you have 6 months to accept that offer. So if you go online, you go to the SBA website to apply for this, and you're confused, there's nowhere to put in a loan amount, it's because they'll make you an offer based on all of the information that you submit. Finally, a piece that rolled out with the CARES Act a few weeks ago is this emergency grant of up to $10,000. So now if you go on today and apply for the EIDL, you can also elect to get up to a $10,000 emergency loan, and this will be forgivable after the loan program progresses. As of a week ago, you were still able to do this. I'm not sure if that funding has been capped, but I encourage you, if you can still apply for the EIDL, if you haven't yet, to do so. So this is a great infographic just to reiterate these two federal programs that I've talked about, the Paycheck Protection Program and the Economic Emergency Disaster Loan. Both can be used for payroll. Some can be used for interest, accounts payables. The EIDL, again, is really meant to get you through a more long-term situation. The PPP will get you through the next couple of months. Again, PPP, 2.5 times your business's average monthly payroll, and that includes taxes and benefits. And then with the EIDL, you can receive up to $2 million. Also very low APRs, 1% for the PPP and 3.75% for the EIDL. I'm fairly certain that both are fixed, but I would just double check that since this infographic only says the PPP is fixed. For the PPP, you have 2 years to pay off the loan, no payments for the first 6 months. And for the EIDL, there's 15 and 30-year terms. And finally, there are elements of both programs that are forgivable. So for the PPP, as long as you use the money for the eligible expenses, it can be up to 100% forgivable with approval. And then that $10,000 emergency grant that you're eligible for through the EIDL would also be forgivable. So the Working Washington Small Business Emergency Grant is the grant program that the governor's office announced this past Tuesday. You may have seen information about it. I plan to go through this program, but we learned this morning that King County is actually unable to continue accepting applications for this program. They've reached the max. This one has been very popular, and as you can see, there's only $5 million available statewide, so it's not a lot of money to go a very far way. If you're a business who was able to apply for this program, great. Please reach out to me to let me know so I can help you through the process. And if you weren't able to apply, I'm really sorry about that. Please reach out to me as well, and I can run that information up the chain. So on the local level, we at the city are trying our best as well to help with financial relief within the limited resources that we have. One thing that we were able to do on Tuesday night, City Council approved a code amendment that allows businesses the option to defer their B&O tax payment. This will go in effect on April 20th, and it's available to those businesses who earn at least $250,000 per quarter, so they pay their B&O tax quarterly. The amendment would extend the payment deadlines for Q1 and Q2 through October 31st, 2020. And we're hoping that this will help businesses manage the use of scarce cash resources right now. Again, it goes into effect on April 20th. So just a brief pause here so you can have my contact information. Again, please feel free to reach out to me at any time. And then this Let's Talk website is dedicated to small business resources. We're updating it regularly, so please, if you haven't bookmarked it at all yet, please do. I want to try to get you all the information you need as much as possible. You can also sign up for a weekly e-newsletter so you can get regular updates from me.
So, Sarah, we have a few campaigns that we've kicked off and some things you'd like to announce. So let's turn to that topic now.
Great. So we really want to encourage local community members to support your businesses as well. Right now, it's critical to shop local and spend like it matters to keep your local business community thriving. I apologize for how cheesy this next slide is, but I hope it'll be a good way for you to remember some ways you can support local businesses every day. So I encourage you to make an appointment on Monday. Some service providers are scheduling out into the future, so go online and schedule that hair appointment or dentist appointment. Keep in mind that providers are as stressed and swamped as you may feel, so please be patient when you're connecting with them. We've already been running a Takeout Tuesday campaign in collaboration with the Chamber of Commerce. Takeout Tuesday is a great opportunity to support those local restaurants, take a break from the kitchen and have a yummy meal, but you don't have to do that only on Tuesday. So woo your friends on Wednesday, and this one I'm not particularly proud of, so please apologize. There aren't There aren't a lot of verbs that start with W that worked in this context, but Wednesdays are a great day to introduce your friends to your favorite businesses. Buy a gift card or send them a gift from your favorite local businesses to show that you care. And talk up your favorites on Thursday. So head to social media, promote your favorite businesses online, and don't forget to tag those businesses so they get the extra boost. You can get fit on Friday. Hopefully everyone's using the time that we have at home very wisely to work on your fitness. A lot of Mercer Island studios and gyms are offering classes. If you have a membership already, right now is a great time to maintain that membership to help those businesses out. If you're new to some of these studios, consider taking a class online and then buy a class package for continued workouts. Stay on the island on Saturday, so I know that we all have essential services that we'll likely need to go out for at some point. And when you do, I encourage you to stay on the island to get your gas or pick up your medicine or your groceries. And finally, support nonprofits on Sunday. And I've talked a lot about small businesses right now, but nonprofits are also hurting, and we have a lot of great organizations on the island that could use your donations and support. And one way you can do that is through the We Love MI campaign. So this is an umbrella campaign that makes it easy for community members to support all of the organizations that they love, from nonprofits, the school district, youth and family services, to even the small business community. It's sponsored by the Mercer Island Community Fund in collaboration with several community partners, including the Chamber of Commerce, the Strom Jewish Community Center, Youth and Family Services, and the Schools Foundation. And the goal is really to keep Mercer Island as the beautiful and vibrant place that all islanders love to live in. You can do this by donating through various programs, all that will be included in an umbrella website hosted by the Community Fund. Businesses and nonprofits can get involved now to ensure that they're included when the campaign kicks off next week, Wednesday, April 15th. So if you're interested in getting involved, let me know. You can send me an email or find information on Let's Talk. Thank you so much for your time today. I really enjoyed being here. And again, if you're a small business or a community member who's interested how you can still support a small business during this time, please reach out to me, and don't forget to visit Let's Talk for continually updated information.
Thank you very much, Sarah, for being here today. And I want to just say thank you on behalf of the community and the City Council for the work you're doing. I will remind everyone, Sarah's been doing this for about 3 weeks, so thank you for diving in and sorting out the federal legislation and the programs that are available. Everything is available to you on Let's Talk. And a reminder, Sarah is happy to take your phone calls and help you work through the programs. Many of you may find that useful. Okay, transitioning now, I wanted to provide an update on the Mercer Island cases of COVID-19. As of this afternoon, we had 63 confirmed cases, and we are getting this data from the King County dashboard, the Public Health Seattle and King County dashboard. They're also reporting we have 3 people that have died. Earlier this week, in fact, it was at the Tuesday council meeting, we had data that 4 people had passed away. I'm not sure if I misread the dashboard or if there was a correction made, and that is happening. Sometimes the data is entered in error and it's corrected later, so I do apologize for that. A couple reminders: if you have symptoms of COVID-19, you're required to quarantine. And also a reminder, if you have a confirmed case of COVID-19, you are required to isolate. If you need more information about what that means, we encourage you to speak directly with your healthcare providers. And thank you. I know we have members of the community that are ill and doing everything they can to protect the rest of us. Thank you. Thank you for caring, and please do take care of yourself. You've heard recently from the CDC and now the Washington State Department of Health. Both organizations are advising that you wear a face covering when you go out in the public. This is just an extra layer of protection, and the guidance is for cloth-free face coverings. One of the concerns we had is that people would go and seek the N95 masks. These are the ones that our first responders and our healthcare workers need. So again, this recommendation is specifically for cloth face coverings. And there is a video that our United States Surgeon General put out this week, along with many, many other videos you can find on YouTube and other places about how to make your masks. We have posted this video on our Let's Talk page if you'd like to check that out. We've also had an inquiry from a number of citizens about how to get masks, and I know there are community efforts mobilized. We're going to do some work over the next few days to try to connect people that have mask needs with those that have masks. So stay tuned for more information on that. Last week, I announced we had a new field hospital opening, and now we're announcing that field hospital that's at CenturyLink Field is actually closing. It is being redeployed to an area that needs it more than we do. This is good news. For sure, it means the measures that we've taken to protect our community are working. Doesn't mean we're done yet, but we wanted to make sure you knew that the field hospital is moving. Again, if you need medical attention, continue to contact your doctor, and for emergencies, please continue to call 911. Today, I'm also joined by Ryan Daly, our interim Parks and Recreation Director. Welcome, Ryan. He has a number of Parks and Recreation updates, including parks etiquette and how we are showing up in our parks under the Stay Home, Stay Healthy order. So welcome, Ryan, and we'll get right to it.
Thank you, Jessi. I just want to say my mom would be very happy to see my name associated with anything etiquette-wise. So thank you. As many of our residents are aware, we have taken steps to follow the governor's order to stay home and stay healthy. What those have been thus far have been closing our sports courts, closing our ball fields, which will take effect tomorrow, closing our picnic areas as well as our playgrounds. And I just want to give a shout out to all of the parents with young children. It has been amazing to see the lack of usage on our playgrounds. And following that order is extremely impressive right now. And that's very helpful to our community as a whole. Touching on the closed areas a little bit deeper, the parks are, as we know as a community, are really essential to the quality of life and the physical and mental health benefits that they provide. In fact, within the last survey we did for the PROS plan, we saw 99% of residents state that, and Jessi, that's news to you. Just an impressive number, and so I can imagine how difficult it is right now not to be able to utilize those parks in their full aspect. And so what we are asking is for people to focus on the social distancing. No gathering of any kind in our park areas. That includes Pokemon tournaments, picnics, you name it. We don't want gathering in our parks right now. We just can't have that. The other issues involved group fitness or personal training. This has been something that actually has really popped up in the last couple of weeks, where we see personal trainers out in the park with a number of residents or citizens working out. Oftentimes they're displaying 6 feet, but it's still a group activity and considered gathering and not permitted. The other being practicing sports and even hosting games, which isn't occurring, but the practicing sports aspect is. And this has been a real challenge for us, specifically at Island Crest Park, at the Lid, with groups organizing these practices or batting practices, those kind of things. And it's just not something that we can have going on right now, and we ask that action cease. You'll see there's a couple of pictures on the screen. One is the bottom picture, and that's a group personal training. I won't identify who they are, but I spoke with them, as well as a group of what was dog walkers or a gathering of people with dogs at the Lid Park. And it really caught my eye because it's not what we should be seeing right now. The gathering aspect needs to cease at this point. It's important that we stay home and stay healthy and focus on that outdoor activity in separation. Park etiquette. This is really important for us. a lot of the complaints we've been receiving have been really etiquette based. It's been people feeling uncomfortable as fellow residents walk by in close proximity. So what we ask is to limit your stay in the parks. We want you to utilize them when you need to, but also to avoid those interactions with other park users. Keep that separation, keep that distance. We keep saying 6 feet. Let's go big. Let's go 10 feet. Let's expand on that as much as we possibly can. Provide people that additional space. When you're walking, identify yourself and move to the side. If you're on a bike, please slow down. We're seeing a lot of people in our parks right now, and it's just really critical that we take those extra safety measures, communicate, so that we can all use the parks as we need to. The other aspect, and this is more of a plea, to be honest, we're seeing a lot of dogs in the parks right now, and that's great. That's more than appropriate. But I do have an ask, and if possible, to keep those dogs on a leash. I'm not making any policy changes right now, but I am asking to please do so, because I actually have a dog paw print on my jeans right now because a dog came up to me while I was in Luther Burbank Park, which is leash only, by the way. The other aspect is please continue to follow the public health guidance. That's just really critical to us successfully navigating this crisis.
Okay, Ryan, so I know we're running up against the governor's press briefing, so we'll maybe run through these park service updates quickly, starting with summer events.
Canceled. Unfortunately, it's a decision that did have to be made. I do want to give a shout out and a thank you to the Arts Council for all their work that they do with their respective events, mostly music and Shakespeare in the Park. Unfortunately, right now, we don't see a path forward for summer events.
Okay. As for summer programs, which is different than the summer events that you just announced that are canceled, so let's talk a little bit about summer programs.
Summer programs are yet to be determined. What staff is working on, the interesting thing about summer, and Jessi mentioned this in the council meeting, is that our summer is planned. We're ready to go. Our challenges lie in, can we offer the program safely? Can we effectively manage the safety protocols that'll be put in place? And can we get the staff? That's really challenging for us right now when we can't get out to those college campuses and actively recruit. The other really important thing is, can we offer financially viable programming? We're not, as a Parks and Recreation Department right now, prepared to take a loss on a program that we can offer. That's just not something that's possible. We do anticipate making a decision in early to mid-May. We're in communication with a lot of the other municipalities in the area, finding out what they're doing, and we're all sort of in the same boat. But I will say that our programming, our recreation staff is working really hard right now to look at various options that I don't want to say on a moment's notice, but very quickly would be able to adapt programming.
Excellent. And finally, a couple updates on park maintenance.
Park maintenance. Our park maintenance crew right now is really only doing the necessary tasks. And that's outlined there on Governor Inslee's stay home, stay healthy order. But I want to talk about what you're going to see in the parks, and you're seeing it right now. Grass is growing quickly. Weeds are starting to pop up in planter beds and whatnot. Our ball fields don't look like they normally do this time of year, but our restrooms are clean, and our garbage cans are being emptied, and those are the two key focuses that our parks crew has right now. I will mention that the parks crew today was out mowing our fields. This is something they're doing to protect a capital asset. It's frankly to protect our tax dollars that we're investing into these facilities. So you'll see our crews out there periodically cleaning, disinfecting, emptying garbage cans, as well as just, addressing any safety concerns that pop up and that we may see. And please, those who are out in the parks, and this is where I really ask for the community's help, is if you're seeing things out in the park, we're not there all the time right now. Let us know. And the best way to do that is at coronavirus@mercergov.org. And that's really helpful to us.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Ryan, for the Parks and Recreation updates, and to the Mercer Island community. We really want to keep the parks open, and we want to make those resources available to you to continue to passively recreate safely. So we appreciate your cooperation and supporting the governor's order to stay home and stay healthy. All right, I'm going to keep going until I get the cue that the governor's come on with his press briefing. From fire operations, hey, it's mostly a good news story. The fire chief isn't here with me today. We gave him a break. We're still at normal staffing levels. We have no personnel off duty related to COVID-19 exposures. Interestingly, not surprising, our call volumes are up about 20%. I don't have the data in front of me to say whether or not that is directly related to COVID-19. I'm sure it's definitely impacted by that. But we're able to handle all those calls ourselves. So we do have relationships with our partner organizations. And I just want to assure you that even though the call volumes are up, our fire department is able to handle those responses. We're doing some other things. We're getting really resourceful. You'll see our fire personnel switching from their uniforms, their dress shirts to t-shirts, which just is easier to launder and change given this pandemic. We're also exploring things like washable gowns and face shields because although we have supplies right now, we are projecting a shortage in 3 to 4 weeks or so. Police operations, the same thing. They are at full staffing levels. The police chief is not here with me today either, but he shared with me that most people are complying with the order. They are continuing their educational efforts to inform particularly people in the construction industry about what may or may not be allowed. And we're having fantastic cooperation, so thank you again, community. And a reminder, and I'll show you this in just a moment, if you have a concern that someone may not be following the order, please go ahead and reach out to us at our call center, and that slide will be coming back up in just a minute. One of the questions that we did have about the governor's order is around landscaping work and whether or not that is considered essential. We double-checked today, and what we found out and confirmed is it is considered non-essential unless it is for emergency repairs. So an emergency would be something like a tree limb that's going to fall or an unhealthy tree or something else that's not safe. So per the order, outdoor maintenance, including vegetation, is deemed essential only when necessary to prevent spoliation, avoid imminent damage, or address emergency repairs. If we can help you in determining whether or not you should continue performing your landscaping work, please do reach out to us and we'd be happy to assist. Changing topics entirely, quick update on the April 7th City Council meeting. We did hold our first virtual City Council meeting on Tuesday. It went pretty well. We used Zoom. We used Zoom teleconferencing and video conferencing features. I know we had some people join us by phone. I think most people streamed or watched on TV. My compliments to the staff and the City Council for making this change. We are anticipating the April 21st City Council meeting will follow the exact same format. And although we haven't announced this yet, we are suspecting that going forward, we will be doing video meetings for some time. And the reason is, and you can't see the room I'm sitting in today, but this is our council chambers, and we have it all taped off for social distancing. And if you've been in this room before, you know that our seating area is quite compact, and I think we can only accommodate maybe 4 people safely in our seating area. Not to mention that our city council would have to sit too close together. So for right now, assume that as we head into May, we'll probably continue using that virtual meeting technology, and we'll be learning more about how to use that more effectively, and also starting to explore how we can do live public comment going forward. So more on that to come. In the meantime, April 21st is our next City Council meeting, and we look forward to seeing you virtually. I do have a couple of updates from the school district to share with you. The first is just last week, Governor Inslee announced that schools would remain closed until the end of the year. That does not mean, however, that learning is closed. Learning is still happening. And the school district, beginning April 13th, will be providing curriculum-based remote learning for all of the students. So that's coming up just next week. I know they've been working really hard behind the scenes to mobilize the virtual learning environment. Class of 2020, wow, our seniors. I am so sorry. This is not the senior year that you expected. And we're certainly talking here at the city about ways that we can support you and celebrate your incredible milestone. I know this is also top of the list for the school district. And all the way back to early March when the schools were closed, I know Mercer Island School District began talking about how we support our seniors, not only getting you to graduation, but commemorating this incredible milestone in your life. So, on behalf of the school district and the city council and the city, we are working together to make sure we have an opportunity to celebrate you. So more to come on that. The school district continues to provide free lunches for all children on Mercer Island at 2 different locations. It's Islander Middle School and the high school, Monday through Friday. Just a reminder, you need to pre-order so they know how many lunches to prepare by 9 a.m. And all of that information is available on the school district website. There is a special school board meeting next week. It's Thursday, April 16th at 5 o'clock. They too are using online technology and will be live streaming their meeting. If you want to watch that meeting, you can go to their website for instructions on viewing. Okay, a few other updates. I think many of these things you may already be aware of, but just in case, reminder that King County has extended the payment deadline for property tax for residential and commercial taxpayers who pay taxes themselves. So this doesn't apply if you pay through your mortgage lender, but if you pay your property taxes directly, you now have until June 1st to make that payment. For those of you with mortgages, you should check with your banks because we understand there are many programs available for mortgage relief. We have posted this information on our Let's Talk page. Also, next week is April 15th, and it's tax day. So this is a reminder that the federal tax filing deadline has been extended to July 15th. If you happen to be a taxpayer who's anticipating a refund, the IRS is encouraging you to go ahead and file so that you can get those resources back to you. They are staffed and ready to process those tax returns. A couple reminders, we've already touched on some of these, but we're here to help as a city. We have some resources available to you. A reminder, our Youth and Family Services Department has emergency assistance programs for you for things like food, rent, utility support. So please reach out to them. We are continuing our counseling services through telehealth programs. So we can still do our counseling via phone, and we have our numbers there, phone numbers there, as well as, again, you'll notice a theme, links to our Let's Talk page where we have a button that takes you directly to these resources. Betsy Zuber is continuing to provide services for seniors in need, and her information is also provided on this slide. For utility assistance, just a reminder as well, the city will not disconnect or shut off water service for non-payment during this emergency, so we want to reassure you. We understand the importance of clean water, particularly during the pandemic. If you need a payment plan, we are happy to help, so please reach out and we can work out a program for you. Also, a reminder that late fees will not be charged. I know a couple customers just said, I need a couple extra weeks, and that is no problem. We have information on our utility assistance program also available on our Let's Talk page. All right, a few more slides and then we'll wrap up. So just a reminder, and at this time when we're at home and not able to do all of the things we we enjoy in our daily lives, we can still have some fun. The Parks and Recreation Department, I'll leave it to them, announced a Spirit Week next week, a virtual Spirit Week. So what we want you to do is share something each day on one of our social media platforms, either Facebook or Instagram. So Monday is share your favorite Mercer Island takeout or delivery restaurant. Sarah, you'll like that. Tuesday is share your favorite Mercer Island park. Wednesday is share your favorite Mercer Island outdoor activity that you're doing only while safely social distancing. Thursday, we'd like you to share your favorite Mercer Island outdoor art sculpture or art feature. And Friday, share something new that you're doing during this stay home, stay healthy time. So if you're not connected with us yet on social media, please go look up the Mercer Island Parks and Recreation Facebook page or the Instagram and make a connection, and we'd love to get you involved in our Spirit Week. All right, and also in the category of the fun department, our City Hall elves are in action again. We don't have staff working at City Hall very often anymore, so thankfully we have the elves helping us distribute and sort mail. Thank you to our elves. All right, we will be here again next Thursday at 3:00 p.m. If you have things you would like me to cover, questions you have, please email me at citymanager@mercergov.org. And thank you again to Ryan and Sarah for joining me today. Have a good afternoon and enjoy the sunshine.